Hello, this is our presentation for the course Strategies for Professional Growth. We are presenting for the topic Mindful Pursuit of uh, Career Development with Stress Management and Time Management. We'll be introducing ourselves beginning with Aniket.
Hi, I'm Aniket Das. I'm responsible for compiling all the information collected and assessing all the formatting, finalizing the report.
My turn. So, hi, my name is Divyansh, and in this project, I'm responsible for identifying effective and suitable resources for training and help in our project.
I am Harini. I am responsible to have identify how to interact with the professionals and also prepare the interview questions.
Hi, I'm Prahlad. I was the team lead. I am in charge of identifying all the tasks and assigning it to the different team members.
Hi, my name is Rishabh Singh, and I'm responsible for managing timeline and workspace and video editing and making PPTs.
Hello, my name is Vaibhav Mishra. My contribution to the project consists of research of the topic and learning outcomes and advantages.
Okay, so moving on to the topic, mindful pursuit of professional development with time and stress management. So, in today's fast-paced, demanding work environment, achieving growth in our career while maintaining our emotional and personal well-being is a challenging act. This project aims to explore and present effective strategies that enable professionals to develop their skills and advance their careers without compromising on their personal life and health. So, why have we chosen this topic? See, the modern workplace is characterized by high expectations, tight deadlines, and constant communication with our peers. All of these can contribute to a lot of pressure in terms of personal stress and the time requirements. As professionals strive to improve in their career and go higher, they need some tools and practices that support their growth and well-being in professional in as well as their personal life. This is where techniques of mindfulness, time management, and stress management come into play. So some of the objectives we'll be aiming to cover are the investigation of mindfulness in improving our productivity and job satisfaction, identifying time management strategies that help to meet deadlines without any stress, exploring stress management methods that prevent burnout, and providing some strategies in order to overcome these problems, and share some examples of real world professionals who have gone through their career by using these strategies. So we will begin with identifying the resources and how we went through the project. Divyansh will continue.
So, I'll be talking about how we got to compile all the secondary sources and we collected some information about it. So, talking about secondary sources, like secondary sources provided us with the existing knowledge, whatever there in the domain, what people have researched earlier. So, this have been building our foundation about the topic, what all like the topic about different viewpoints and approaches there has been relating to the mindfulness and stress management. So I would like to mention some of the notable TED talks and user talks which I researched. It's like one TED talk which influenced me very much was is all it takes. One one TED talk which I would like to mention is that by the Andrew Puddicombe is that all it takes 10 minutes of mindfulness to achieve anything. So where he talks about how we can focus 10 minutes based on our breathing exercises and stress management, which can lead us to a good professional career. And there has been many studies. One of I would like to talk about one which is from UC Berkeley, and they researched about uh, if a if the employees of a company went through 8-week meditation program which included mindfulness, like there was 20% decrease in the stress level, 15% reduction in absenteeism, and 10% increase in the self-reported productivity. And okay, yeah.
Now Rishabh will go through the concepts of some of our topics.
Yeah, I'll be taking three key concepts. So one of them is profession development, and the profession development comes like this. So we need to acquire new technical skills and soft skill, and we need a continuous learning in them, and we have to stay updated with the industry trends and innovations. And and the goal setting is also important, and we have to we have to set goal for long term career objectives, and also for completing tasks and feeling confident, short term milestones helps, and the adapting to the change as the most important things most important thing which we need to incorporate in as a professional life as well as personal life. And the next point is time management. So again, the time management comes with the consistency, with the daily patterns of work. So if we are doing with something with a discipline, so time management comes on its own. And also what we can do is we can start early on the task so that we can reduce the last minute stress, and this also improves the quality of work which we are providing. And there is also a framework given by Eisenhower, known as Eisenhower matrix, so which tells us to prioritize tasks based on urgency and importance. So the matrix says we need to divide our task in four parts, and the one is urgent and important, another is urgent and not important, and then the another is uh, not urgent but important, and the last one is not urgent, not important, which we should delete, and which we should not look at. And and we need to also maintain realistic workload. We should not take unrealistic goals and unrealistic workload. And the most important thing, we should always include buffer time in case of contingency. And the next point is the most important one, it's stress management. And to manage stress, we need to set up clear boundaries, and that is very important for everyone. So to set up a clear boundary and clear boundaries for their personal time, and everyone has to tailor a balance with their professional needs and their personal needs. And engaging in activities outside the work also helps in reducing the stress, and the physical activities also helps. And minimalism is the key for going stress free. And meditation and mindfulness practice is very important. Meditation is very known phenomena, and mindfulness is also type of meditation which helps you focus on being intensively aware of your surroundings, and which helps you make right and good decisions. So these were the three key points, and here are the few key points out of these which we should remember every time to maintain our professional development and maintain time and stress.
So now we will proceed where each of us will talk about what we learned from our interviews with the professionals, beginning with Aniket.
Yeah, so I interviewed a UX designer, and she was a professional working in the sector for 5 years. So she mentioned it is very important. Building a career in any discipline requires like knowledge and implementation. Like without implementation, the knowledge kind of fades away and gets trapped in the continuous cycle of learning the same thing, right? So if we focus on what she said, I guess mindfulness, like any other professional skills, becomes a product of practice. So it requires you to take absolute dedication and discipline in practicing mindfulness. Without practice, it becomes a concept that you chase, right? So I guess mindfulness is in a professional setting, like she mentioned, requires one to set clear boundaries to ensure personal time is respected. So prioritizing personal time boosts productivity and prevents burnout. So to be able to carry out our professional task without having to uh, suffer from frustration and anger, that requires prevention of burnout, right? So I guess one of the most important professional skills to build is to understand, as she said, the difference between react and respond. And if like she said, if you can talk your way out of a conflict, then you're good to go. If you're able to communicate properly with your colleagues and stakeholders, then that puts you out of a lot of difficult situations. So I guess responding to remarks, no matter how personal it gets, in a calm manner, often preserves mindfulness and keeps in. So the last thing I would say, that taking ownership of a project, seeing it through and managing it end to end builds confidence and gives you a sense that I can carry out a task no matter what, and I can see it through, right? So that about sums it up, what I learned from interviewing the professional.
Okay, and Divyansh.
So I interviewed a working professional who is working as a software developer in a financial firm. So since he's working in a financial firm, there might be bugs in the projects he's working on, and that involves a huge risk because it's a financial firm and they might be handling large transactions of money. So my main focus of the interview was on stress management and mindfulness activities which he do in his office. So yeah, the first thing which I talked to him was about how he manages his deadlines, how he completes things on or before deadlines. So he told me that the main key to managing deadline and finishing anything before the deadline is to starting early. If you start early, you can achieve anything before the deadline. And he also suggested me to, if you're in your college days or when you're doing your personal projects, when you focus more on the basics, what is happening in the project and how the things are happening. He was talking only in the context of software engineering, how the functions are being written. If you focus on the basics, you'll be able to achieve anything easily. And if you're stuck anywhere, then like if you're just starting your career and you're stuck anywhere in some problem or in some bug you're not able to solve, then communication is the key. You need to talk to your mentors, you need to talk to your seniors, you need to talk to the project manager, maybe bosses, about what approach you're using, what approach they would suggest you to use. So in this case also, if your basics are clear, you will be able to do understand their perspective and implement the new things. And we also suggested that to evolve in a professional life, you should be always ready to learn new things. You should be open to changes at any point in time. And like to manage stress when working, like stress as in if he's working on something and there is some error, if there is some bug which he's not able to fix currently. So he suggested that he takes a break and he does something which is not at all related to the project which he's doing. He maybe play some games, take a walk in the office, have coffee, talk to his friends, and he does all the things. And then after the break, he comes with a clear mind and sits again and then try to solve the problem again. So I think these are the learnings which I got to know from the by interviewing a professional. So yeah, thank you.
Now Harini will share her insights.
I interviewed an product analyst and a product manager. She has been in the industry for the past 2 years. So the key points that she shared with me, and which was quite interesting, and also that I want to follow in my career, was the first point would be that work-life balance changes from person to person. That it is not like you have to work for 6 fixed hours and you have to live your life for the next fixed 6 hours and all. She told me to prioritize things, and if at some point, if your personal life is more important than your work life, you have to prioritize that. And in those days, your work hours might differ and your work hours might decrease. This applies same with work also. And moving on, she said whenever she gets stressed or whenever she's stuck in a problem that she has to deliver in a few days or in a few hours, she always takes a break of 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Like Divyan said, she either goes for a walk or just for a lunch or for a dinner. She totally throws away the thoughts and takes a break for herself and then comes again. This allows her to focus a lot more than what she thinks. And she also added a point that being in a state where she's not thinking about work after a few hours, after her work hours, will make her more productive in the next day. And about the self improvement or self development part in her career, she always says she interacts with her seniors in her lunch break or in her dinner or anytime she gets, and she talks about their experiences and gain whatever they have experienced so far in their career. This was also a kind of input for how she can develop or how she can face any problem she faced with her career. And moving on, she also interacts with many communities where there are people who are very much interested in learning new things from other people rather than online sources. So these are the main things that I got from her, and I hope to follow in my career too.
So I interviewed a software professional who has been working for almost 20 years. So some of the points that he said were that he throughout his 20 years of career, the main thing he learned was he had to constantly learn new things and adapt to changing technology so that he was not caught in the stress of having to catch up with his peers. He also said that we need to be mindful of our goals so that we set the goals and achieve them before actually starting the tasks. It is important to identify the goals. To manage time, he also said that he focuses on a fixed routine where he devotes some time for his personal life, some time for his fitness, some time for his hobbies, and sometimes for his work life. Like Harini said, he also said that it does not always have to be rigid or separate. He said that sometimes when he is home, he devotes some time to his work when it is necessary. Sometimes when he is at his work, he also calls up and checks up whether his parents are fine, if they have taken their medicines during lunch and all that. So some other things he said was that it is important to spend some time with your friends, family, and maintain a hobby so that you distract yourself from the stress of a competitive professional life. He also said that in his organization, they provided a lot of stress management to techniques and training to the employees. But apart from the organization side, it is also for the individual to make sure that the individual manages their stress and time. Finally, he also said that it is necessary to be mindful of any change. So any professional or any career will have a lot of changes throughout their career. So it is important to be mindful of change and ensure that our stress and time is managed throughout a changing environment. Rishabh, can you please share your insight?
I interviewed a data analyst. He told me that initially he started working as a salesperson. Then he went into marketing, and now he has switched to data analyst. Initially, he was working from office, so that was that was very troublesome for him. Then the company allowed him to go the work from home, and that helped him a lot. And he shared few points out of his experience. So then during his learning, he also learned about the Eisenhower matrix. So he told me he has followed this, yeah, and this has helped him very much to prioritize his tasks and maintain always catch up to the deadline. And then he told me about to have a good diet and have low intensity exercise and walks. And he also told me that he also swims, and that helps him a lot to manage stress. And we also talk about making it small goals and developing in our being developing our career. And he told me that as he has been through from one career to another career, and he has switched to too many roles. So for this, he has always respected the change and always kept himself upskilling. So that's how Ketan has maintained the position he has right now. And he also stressed on the meditation. So he told me that meditation also helps him. Today he has a family and the kids also. So he is managing everything, and he's able to do all this with all these points. And we also talked about that what organization do for helping them to cope up with the stress and the time management. So he told me that in their company, the company name is Icor. So they have like every month they have meetings. So the meeting is called Smart. So it goes for stress management and resilience training. So they talk about the practices for self care, and they share get their stress. And they train new employees also there to help them to cope up with the work stress. So this was my conversation with him. And the one more thing he told me that every time you are feeling stress, just take a pause and denormalize yourself, and then start working on the same thing you were working before.
Vaibhav, can you share your experience with the interview?
So I interviewed a software engineer who in robotics, having the experience of 3 years. It was in DRDO, and so I have written some insights, and I will expand on that. So he, what I learned from him is that minimalism is the key. Like lesser friction leads you to more productivity and more peace of mind. So what is minimalism? Actually, minimalism is decluttering your physical space. And in terms of when you are working and when you are, he is also a student in this IT program. So minimalism is decluttering your physical space and your mental space. So mental space meaning you, there is a term like cognitive load. So if you like having a lot of information that you are not putting off, and you are not having, you are not tasked to putting off in some app or on the paper, then you create a cognitive load which leads you to more stress. So this is sort of a mindfulness technique, you could say. And he said that mindfulness helps to make better decisions when you put your thinking on the paper, when you put your thinking on the, using some apps. Then you make you make a map. You can make better decisions, and you can put off your things so that you can be mindful about the stuff and do not stress about it. So for time management, he told that don't overschedule. So the toxic productivity thing is like schedule every minute, and schedule uh, scheduling every minute leads to just the purpose itself, that you want to manage time. You are not you are just managing time. You are not accomplishing anything. So overscheduling is something we said to abandon. And the thing at last, I will say, like what I learned is that incorporating minimalism in physical space and in mental space is important. And doing the mindfulness techniques like meditation, yoga, or some muscle, relaxing exercises is good. And basically, following minimalism in the professional space and in even student life is going to give you uh, more productivity and more peace of mind. That's what I learned, and that's what I will incorporate and try to accomplish.
Okay, so in conclusion, we have all learnt a lot during the course of this project regarding our topic. So what would each of you recommend to someone who has very little idea about our topic of mindfulness and using it to manage our stress and time? Beginning with Aniket.
I'd say if we can be able to distinguish between what's because urgency and prioritizing our tasks is all relative. So what is urgent to us might not be urgent to corporation and everything else. So we have to see which urgent matter is more towards our professional goal and career health. So in terms of building skills and implementing those skills in terms of getting a career growth, I'd say if we don't have that kind of a reward cycle that we are getting something out of what we are trying to implement, then that also fades away our ability to learn, ability to um, really push ourselves to learn something. So I'd say anyone who's trying to understand our topic is being mindful, being aware of what you're learning, what's the urgency, who you're serving in terms of what you're doing in the project really matters. And moving on to building skills and acquire skills, it is very clear, it is very apparent that we have to constantly upskill. And yeah, that's it, I guess.
Divyansh, what would be your recommendation?
My recommendation will be regarding the professional growth, and it will be like you should focus more on your basics. If you are focusing more on the basics of anything which you want to either learn new or you want to implement what you've learned, you need to focus on your basics, and you'll be able to achieve almost all things in life in your professional career. Yep.
Harini, what would be your suggestion?
So from my point of view, I think first you have to know yourself and prioritize your needs and also your business or your career needs. And you can continue in that path, like plan yourself ahead and do what is needed first. And make sure you take care of your health and also your personal life well, because those are also important for you rather than work. And keep yourself updated and upskill yourself as much as you need in the line. Thank you.
So my tip would be that to be mindful in professional development, it is important to adapt to any change and be conscious of a competitive environment. And at the same time, making sure that we do not compromise on our hobbies, our personal lives, and our friends and families. So Rishabh, what would be your suggestion?
The most interesting thing I learned during the discussion is the Eisenhower matrix, so which I already discussed, that we divide the matrix in 4 parts. And so I am trying to incorporate this in my actual life. And the other thing is that which touched me is that having a good diet and low intensity exercises are very important doing the work. And I've also learned this, that during the discussion, that drinking water in every 30 minutes. And he also Ketan told me this, that Ketan, every time you're working on your desk, just Ketan, in every 20 minutes try to stand up and then sit down. So this will help your body to have a good blood circulation. So these things are the things which I learned from him, and I'm definitely going to incorporate in my work.
Finally, Vaibhav, what would you suggest to someone who listens to?
So I think that this is some sort of habit. It's not just a work that you are going to do. You are doing like 10 minutes meditation. It's not a work. It's a habit. And as Harni said, like it's about personalization. Maybe you don't like meditation. Maybe you just like something else. Like let's say minimalism. There is something you decluttering stuff that could ease you out. So it's about personalization. And the thing is, make it a habit. Making a habit is more important because that will pile up and give you more results. So when you are starting, start doing a small like atomic habit thing. So start smaller and then more. Then you can increase the intensity and increase the duration of meditation, mindfulness, or about the time management. I will say like just try to don't try to be in the toxic productivity space. Try to do the minimal thing. Try to not plan. Try to strategize things, and this will be better in professional life, or if you are a student in student life. Yeah.
So to conclude our presentation, There are various strategies for professional development through time and stress management, which include us being mindful of our choices and career. Throughout the course of this project, I'm sure each of us has learned a lot, which will definitely help us in progressing our careers. And we hope that anyone else who listens to this or watches this also gets to implement these ideals and has a wonderful professional growth. Thank you.
I simply took a break at that moment. I don't touch it. So basically, I distract myself from being coding for time being, so that it won't affect my mind. So when I get refreshed, then I try to come back, and then I.
And second is like it's not always that you can complete a task within your scheduled time. So I always left some buffer time so that I can extract extra time from that buffer and complete that task on time. Think out of the box.
Adding on to the before points, I just want to know, how do you manage your stress in your daily day work?
So initially when I started, it was really tough for me to like cope up with all the day-to-day tasks, everything. But after that, when I like started working, I see how people work, and the stress is something that if I procrastinate, only the stress actually builds up for me. So even if I feel like something is not really, I'm feeling some difficulty, I immediately approach to my manager and I tell them that this is something I'm feeling difficulty and I want help towards it. So I majorly don't procrastinate things. I try to finish up like on time so that I can like have a proper work-life balance. Also, I don't delay things.
Any other tips or any other boundaries that you have set up to make sure that your personal time is respected well?
Also, the other boundaries I set is sometimes if you are too much into your work, even after coming out of office, you might, if you're stuck in a problem, you keep thinking about it, like how to solve this or how to do it efficiently. So so I do face this, even I do this even now, but most of the times I learned was like a proper afterlife is very important for you to work efficiently the next day. So if something is really bothering me and I'm thinking to break about it, I usually don't think about it. I pause and distract myself. Like I involve into other activities like watching movies or hanging out with friends, going out, sometimes like clubbing or sometimes to like dinner or something, so that I divert myself. And then when I come back the next day, I come up with full energy and try to solve it. So that's how I do that.
How can you describe your approach to professional development?
Professional development, it's very important to set short-term goals and long-term goals. While you need to stay focused on your long-term goals, it is also important to have short-term. And short-term, when I say short-term, I mean a monthly goal or maybe a quarterly goal or a half-yearly goal. An important aspect of achieving these goals is to make sure that you are on a continuous learning path. And learning is on the soft skill side and on the technical and domain side. It's very important to continuously keep learning. Also, look for feedback from your peers, from your seniors, from your customers.
Have you heard about the 4 quadrants of Eisenhower matrix?
No, I have not, sir.
Okay. The first quadrant in this matrix is urgent and important. You'll have to look out what is urgent and important. And what is urgent and important? Tasks with deadlines or consequences, finish that work first. This is the first quadrant. And the second one is the task which is urgent but not important. The task which is urgent but not important. You will have to delegate that task. Tasks that must get done but don't require your specific skill set. Sorry. The third one is not urgent but important. The third one is not urgent but important. This is task with unclear deadlines that contribute to long-term success. Did you get my point or not?
Yes, sir, I'm getting it.
Yeah. And the fourth one is not urgent and not important. The fourth one is not urgent, not important. You will have to delete. You don't have to do those tasks.
My first question to you would be, how has mindfulness impacted your productivity and decision making at work?
Okay, so let me start by saying that I did a to B comparison, which means I
Mm-hmm.
recorded. So I have a whiteboard in front of me. I recorded what I do and how much I get things done. It's like a personal experiment I do at times when I'm feeling energetic. I feel like, okay, I'll put my phone away. I keep working on things I listed down at the beginning of the day, and I kind of manage to like check at the end of the day. So I found that pretty much like it worked. It I could complete whatever I decided to.